I've had a lot of weird days in my life. The weirdest day of my life happened a little over a year ago, September 13th, 2021. It was the day before I'd gone to the White Sox game with my friends. So I drank a lot of beers there. And then it was the first day of NFL games. So we went to a bar, drank a lot of beers there, went home pretty hammered, woke up Monday morning very hungover, drove to work. And the first thing that happened was I saw a coworker who a week before had told me his wife had started making homemade peanut butter cups. I was like, oh my God, that's my favorite candy. Will you bring me one? He's like, yeah, sure, no problem. So I see this coworker first thing Monday morning. He's like, hey man, I got your peanut butter cup. And he hands me this single peanut butter cup in a clear plastic bag with a bow on it and a label. I was like, that's really fancy. Wow, look at you guys. And he walks away and I was like, I'm so hungover, I'm going to treat myself. And I popped the whole thing in my mouth. And it had peanut butter and jelly, which Reese's doesn't got. They need a Scepter came up. I was like, this is good. And then I looked at the bag and I read the label. And his wife's name is Madison. And the label on the bag said Medicinals. I was like, that's cute. Oh, fuck me on a Monday? What is going on right now? So I immediately picked up my phone and texted him. I was like, hey, man, is there weed in this peanut butter cup? And he goes, yeah, didn't I say that? I was like, no, not one time did you say weed, pot, reefer, the devil's lettuce, sticky icky. You didn't say any of that shit, man. And he goes, my bad, with the shrug emoji. And I was like, what should I do? And he goes, enjoy this 90s sitcom day. I don't know what to tell you, man. I was like, are they strong edibles? And he goes, no, they're light. You'll be fine. Don't worry about it. And I was like, all right, cool. He's like, just chill out. And I was like, all right. Here's the thing. If I worked at a desk job during the day, no problem. Pull up Excel, pretend to punch numbers in, trick people. I work construction management during the day at the airport. I drive around planes all day long. And then I thought about it. I was like, wait, all the baggage handlers are high. That's why all the planes are late. Maybe I get away with this. Seriously, they're all just like, I think that says Colorado. I don't know. And I thought about who I am when I smoke weed, and this is true. I really wish this was not true. I only smoke joints, and I'll smoke half a joint by myself. And then with that leftover half, I'll put that in a cereal bowl, and I'll put a plate on top of that. And then I'll put all that in the sink because I'm afraid it's going to start itself back on fire and burn my apartment down. So probably shouldn't drive around planes today. So I called my boss, and I was like, hey, man, I think I'm about to shit my pants. And he's like, go home. And I'm like, it's that easy? And he goes, what? And I'm like, nothing. And I hang up. And then I get in my car, and I was like, okay, it's a 40-minute drive from this airport to my apartment. I just need to get home before this edible kicks in. I got 10 minutes in this car ride, and I'm like, I am in a fucking rocket ship, and Kid Cudi is my co-pilot, and we are off on an adventure, baby. Tell Elon Musk he can forget the rocket ships. I found the way to get to outer space. Yeah, and I was on the highway for a little bit, and I was like, I'm too high for the highway, which is ironic. And I was like, all right, let's get off. So I pulled off at the next exit I saw, but then I realized I was too high to read street signs, so I had no clue where in the city I was. I was like, how do I get home? I was like, oh, I know. I'll Google Maps my own address. So I punched it into Google Maps, and it pulled it up. But I was so high, I forgot how Google Maps worked. So whenever it said to turn, I just took the next one of those. It normally says turn in 1 mile. I just turned left the next left. And then I was like, all right, next right. Cool. And I just kept doing that. And at one point, I heard Google Maps go, what the fuck are you doing, man? And I don't even have the voice command on, so I don't know where that came from. It took me an hour 40 to get home. Finally get home. I lived on the corner of a corner building at the time. I pull up to this corner, and luckily, the spot right in front of my apartment was open. The universe was like, you're not parallel parking today. You're having a bad day. So I pulled up and I parked, and I was like, okay, let's just get my bag and get inside. We'll figure this all out then. So I get out of the car, and I walk around to the other side of my car, and I go, damn, doors are locked. So I walk back around, unlock the doors. I start walking back. And I was like, oh, the keys are still in the ignition. Probably should grab those. Walk back, grab my keys, walk back around, get my backpack, and go, man, I am too high to be alive right now. And I walk inside, and I lay down. I'm like, let's just sleep. And then all of a sudden, I hear my brain go, hey, Brian? And I'm like, what's up, brain? And my brain goes, isn't it crazy how close Brian and brain are in spelling? And I went, oh, shit, that is crazy. And then my brain goes, isn't it crazy you're going to die one day? I'm like, you're a dick. Why would you say that? I'm like, I guess we're not sleeping. He goes, no, we are not. I was like, okay. I was like, let's just go for a walk. I'm like, I'll walk this off. We'll be fine. But I was so high, my legs stopped working correctly. So all I have to say is fuck flat earthers. I felt every inch of the earth's curve that day. I was walking uphill in every direction. I look like fucking Bambi out of the womb, walking down the street. I decided to get Gatorade. It took me 25 minutes to get to the 7-Eleven that was 5 minutes away. And I don't know if you've been in 7-Eleven when you're high, but it's the scariest place on earth. There's too many options. And I walked in, and I was like, I'm going to get a Gatorade. We're going to be fine. And I walked up to the freezer, and I was so high I forgot there was glass there. So I just tried to reach and grab it. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? There's a force field in front of this Gatorade. And then eventually someone walked in and just opened the door for me. I was like, oh, thank God you came, sir. You're a hero. And I grabbed the Gatorade, and I walked up to the cashier, who clearly knew I was high as fuck. And he goes, you good, man? And I just went. And I paid for the Gatorade and walked outside, and I immediately chugged half of it in front of the store. And I looked back at the cashier, and he was staring at me, and I just went. I was like, let's walk home. Did the same cripple-legged walk back home, just shaking all the way. And I got to the corner right by my apartment, and I was like, I feel like I've been standing at this corner waiting for this light to change forever. And then I realized I was staring at a construction sign, and the light was just blinking orange. I was like, oh, I'm dumb. And I finally get home. I'm like, thank God, let's lay down. And I fall asleep for 4 hours. And I wake up so fucking high still. I was like, what is going on? I thought this was a light edible. So I texted my coworker. I was like, hey, man, you said these were light. And he goes, oh, yeah, I lied. They are very fucking strong. He's like, you're going to be high for at least 3 more hours. I'm like, you're a terrible person. He goes, I know. And I don't know if I really gained anything from that experience other than 3 things. If you got to drive while you're high, listen to Kid Cudi. Chug Gatorade if you can. And don't take food from any human being on this earth ever again. If my mom came up right now and was like, you want a casserole? I'd be like, is there weed in it, Diane? What's going on here? Are you drugging me? That story is allegedly true, by the way. Yeah, no, it's allegedly, because I've been saying this around the country, and then I realized my coworker could get fired. So, I don't know how the law works, but I watch Better Call Saul, and I think as long as you say allegedly, do whatever the fuck you want.